Some 40 years ago, the sport of drag racing got its start on the dry lakes of California, where men pushed the limits of performance in anything from stripped-down hot rods to streamlined lakesters. From these unpretentious beginnings emerged what would become the world's largest sanctioning body, the NHRA. Today, interest in drag racing has crossed borders and continents and is growing into an international affair. NHRA-style drag racing events and exhibitions have been presented in more than 20 foreign countries, including South Africa, Australia, Great Britain, and the Orient. Meaningful working relationships have been established all over the world. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this international edition of NHRA Today. I'm Steve Evans, and yes, I did say international. Drag racing may have been born in the United States and popularized here, but its fame and its popularity has spread around the globe. Now, we are based today in a tropical locale, but the hammer's down on drag strips all over the world. So grab your passport and let's see some of that action. The 1992 European Top Fuel season was full of peaks and valleys. The valleys were few, supplied mostly by Mother Nature as rain interfered with a couple of events. The peaks were many, including overflow crowds despite the weather, record-breaking performances, and bigger, more competitive fields.
In '91, we ran 5 rounds in 4 countries, and this year we've been able to extend it to 7 rounds in 5 countries, so that's real big growth. But the very exciting thing for the sake of European drag racing is we've expanded all the gates at those tracks by as much as 40 and 50%. And we've had at some tracks genuine gates of 40,000 people. So I'm absolutely delighted that Top Fuel's finding its correct status in European drag racing.
By the end of August, 11 Top Fuelers had seen action on tracks scattered across England, Finland, Germany, Norway, and Sweden. Even though 11 doesn't seem like a great number of competitors by American standards, it represents the largest collection of Top Fuel racers in the 30-year history of racing in Europe.
The level of enthusiasm here among the racers is extraordinary. When you consider that it costs roughly twice as much to race a Top Fuel car here in Europe as it does in the United States because of the cost of shipping the parts, duties, and the logistical costs of getting around throughout Europe. These people are obviously very dedicated with a minimum of sponsorship support. Now that the sport is getting the amount of publicity that it genuinely deserves, I think the future is going to be very bright indeed.
Throughout the '92 campaign, the Top Fuel battle boiled down to a Monica Öberg-Risto Puutiinen shootout. Öberg from Sweden and Finland's Puutiinen accounted for 5 wins on the 7-race schedule. Öberg came out of the gate with a win in the first Santa Pod race back in May. Now, unlike her peers, Monica races a car without any American heritage.
This is a Swedish-built car, and all our cars has been from Sweden, so it's not an American car. It's just as good as any American car, a little bit heavier.
Puutiinen, the Flying Finn, won the next 2 events in Finland and Sweden. But even in the midst of a tight points race, competitors across the Atlantic have to take a conservative approach due to the cost.
We try to keep it in the safe side and, run without breaking parts. There's no team in Europe who has like 5 motors on the trailer.
What European Top Fuelers lack in quantity, they pick up in quality. Germany's Rico Anthes debuted his ex-Larry Frazier dragster late in the season and turned the quickest run ever in Europe, a 5:11 at Santa Pod. The former holder of that record, Norway's Liv Burstad, was left on the outside looking in this season as she never made it to a final round due to the tougher competition. The European circuit even boasts a racer with the flexibility of Pat Austin. Peter Lance builds his own cars and races in both Top Alcohol and Top Fuel.
I like to be like Pat Austin here in Europe. That's what I'm trying to be, but I didn't do as well that he did anyway, but I didn't have that backup financial, but anyway, I did it. Both cars at the same meetings and everything, and it was a very nice experience.
As the 1992 calendar narrowed down, Öberg held a slim points lead going into the last race of the season. Puutiinen had to win the rain-delayed Hockenheim final during qualifying at Santa Pod to have a shot at the title. Risto did just that by defeating Rico Anthes in the near lane to register his 3rd win of the year. In order to deny Öberg the championship, Risto had to repeat the next day with a final round win. The Flying Finn appeared on his way with a first round win over Viveka Averstedt in the near lane. Now, when Oldberg lost in the first round, the door was open for Risto. But Putienen had to get by Anthus, who had just run the quickest time ever. Risto in the near lane beat the German off the line, but Rico had too much power and overcame the reaction time difference at the finish line. And so your most competitive Top Fuel Championship race was over with Sweden's Monica Oldberg crowned series champion.
Ever over 220 miles an hour at Fremont Drag Strip. Mike Boyd in the far lane. Steiner having problems off the starting line, but Steiner's got the lead. Boyd pulls away when Steiner has to shut it off. Mike Boyd takes the victory, 7:73 at 193. Steve?
Well, Mike, you had to come from behind to pull off this first round victory. Good job.
Thank you very much. I was holding on to the brakes because I knew the track's bad. I saw Jerry pulling ahead, and I let go and said, oh, well, he's going to smoke the tires or going to catch up to him. And he was out on me, and I guess he was in a good mood and decided to let me go by him. So.
Steve, the younger generation has taken his first round victory. Now the question is, can his dad, Jim Boyd, pick up the win in the Honeycutt and Boyd Red Turkey? His competition, as we see him here in the Thumper car, this is Ty Norton. You notice there's no big wings atop these cars, but some of the racers using the little wings right in front of the rear tires, probably to deflect the air just a little bit. Not a lot of downforce, and of course, it is a spec tire. It's only 12 inches wide. So that's one of the problems they have in getting traction here on this Bakersfield Raceway quarter mile. In the far lane, Boyd practicing the same skills that he utilized on facilities like Lions Drag Strip, Irwindale, Fontana. Ty Norton has got lots of problems, and Boyd loses an engine in the lights, but Boyd takes the victory. His time, 7:32 at 173.
Well, here you see the age-old problem with front-engine dragsters. Oil in the face, Jim.
Yes, sir. Got kind of used to it after 30 years, but I hate it every time it happens.
And now guess what? You race your kid.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. Well, I think it might be my turn. In the last 6 times we've raced, he's had 3, I've had 3. No, wait a minute, this is a toss-up. Well, whatever happens.
He's got lane choice. A factor at all?
No, the track's pretty good. The left lane's a little worse, but we'll make up for it. Somehow.
Everybody's skating around on the big end, though.
Yeah, it is. Big time, yeah. Well, had to take a little power out, that's all.
Can you fix it?
I think we can.
Our blast from the past, the 8-car Top Fuel Show nostalgia style. We're still in round number 1, and Ted Taylor, the number 6 qualifier, with a 771, is squaring off against Bill Dunlap, who had qualified second. Here comes Dunlap. His qualifying time, a 7:14. Taylor, a racer from Northern California in the late 50s and early 60s. In fact, he campaigned with the late Gary Ormsby, a former Winston Top Fuel champion in the late 60s and 70s. While Taylor's crew had to push him back by hand, you noted that Bill Dunlap's car is equipped with a reverser like the modern-day Top Fuel dragsters. He just sort of idles it back to the starting line to get ready for this round number 1 race against Ted Taylor. Dunlap's car in the far lane, you know, using those little wings out in front. Having his problems off the starting line, Taylor's got a big lead, but here comes Dunlap, and he wins it, a 7:18 to Taylor's losing 7:71. Steve?
When I used to watch Bill Dunlap drive, we didn't do television. So this is a whole lot of fun to be down here with a lot of old friends and a lot of old heroes. And the racing is great. That was a good one.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks. I felt like I was real late on the line.
You were?
Yeah. Got a lot of practice to go. It's been 19 years.
Only a few thousandths, though, the margin of victory.
Is that right? He won.
No, you won.
Oh, did we? Great.
That's how close it was, folks.
All right.
Low ET of the round at 7:18.
All right. We like that. Mike Fuller and Rich Guasco doing one heck of a job with the motor, and we're looking to put a little more power into it.
See you around, kid.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
You remember the name Rich Guasco. He was the tuner on the Pure Hell Fuel Altered in the earlier days of drag racing. Now working with Bill Dunlap on the Nostalgia Dragster. Here comes our final pair of round number 1. You're looking at the eyes of Sam Chastain at the wheel of the Chastain and Hedge car. His competition is Bob Halleck. He's the winner of the 1992 American Nostalgia Racing Association Top Fuel Championship Series. Chastain at the wheel of the former White Bear Dodge car from the late 60s got the break of a lifetime. He moved into the program when the number 1 qualifier, Bill Alexander, was unable to answer the call for the first round. So now it is Halleck here in the far lane up against Sam Chastain. Nitro-burning, steel-block, 392 cubic inch Chrysler engines powering these top-fuel dragsters. Alex got a good run going, easily outdistancing Chastain. Elapsed time, low ET of the round, 681. Chastain trailing at a 719. Steve?
Well, Bob, that was a pretty good shot. Low ET of the round by a ton at 681.
Ooh, great, thanks. We knew we had it in there. We were just waiting for this.
What about 200 miles an hour today?
Yeah, 210. We're sitting for 210 right now.
Let me ask you, on the cal it says barely married. What's that all about?
Well, a guy, John Charlton, and myself built our first car, and I spent so many hours at his shop.
Ooh, I know the feeling.
And it took us a couple months, and we didn't know a name, and my wife says, how about barely married, pal?
Ooh.
So we just kept it barely married.
All right.
On ringside, you get the best boxing. The rising stars, the title fights.
Is the world welterweight champion.
We'll keep up the pace in 93 at the new time of 10 p.m. Wednesdays. Ringside on Sky Sports.
Hasn't time flown?
Yes, it stood still for you. I have grey hair. You're not grey at all, are you?
That's because I look after myself. I discovered Just for Men. Simply apply, wait 5 minutes and rinse off. No grey, just natural-looking colour.
Your husband is so young-looking.
Just for Men gets rid of the grey in just 5 minutes.
Oh. Mucron has paracetamol and a decongestant to help bring relief from catarrh and that blocked-up feeling. Mucron helps unblock your tubes.
Malaysia Airlines flies daily non-stop from Heathrow to Malaysia with over 300 weekly connections to the Far East.
There's enchantment wherever you fly.
Malaysia Airlines, enchantment wherever you fly.